So from the seated position, we're not going to move too far too quickly. So breathing in, arms come to the ceiling, breathing out, right hand comes down, left hand towards the ceiling. So the neck here is in a neutral position. We're not going to drop the neck too much unless we feel the need to open out into the neck. We're breathing in, breathing out, bending that right elbow slightly, turning those ribs towards the ceiling. You can even start to look up if that's comfortable on your neck. Breathing in and breathing out. Really feeling that side stretch, but pinning that left hip down. Don't let that left hip draw up. Finding some space in the side body. Get very stationary here. Breathing in, palms come up. Breathing out, over to the other side. Creating space in the side here. Dropping the elbow down on the left. Breathing in and breathing out. If you start to feel quite uncomfortable here, we're just going to take away, slowly coming forward, to take away those props from behind us. And placing them in a safe place by the side of the mat. So coming into tabletop position, you might have heard of cat and cow here. So making sure the hips are over the knees, the wrists back on the shoulders. By doing that, you then have a stable base. So if ever you're not stacked, you can't put too much pressure through those joints. So breathing in, tailbone comes up, head slightly forward. Not too much strain in the neck here. And exhaling, rolling through the spine, pressing towards the ceiling, tailbone down. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. Really drawing the stomach up and in. Before coming to this flat back position. Taking the knees slightly further apart towards the edge of the mat, bringing the toes in. Hands can come forward as you rest the hips back into child's pose. Now, child's pose, you can have the hands forward to press back, pressing the hips down towards the floor, or you can have them resting with a bent elbow or down by your side. Making sure the forehead is on the floor, not the top of the head. So really relaxing here in your favourite arm position, drawing the tailbone down towards the back body. If that's not comfortable for you, placing a pillow behind the knees to create some space. It might not be an accessible thing to do for people. So coming back up, we're going to move through a down dog. Now placing the hands about 6 inches in front of where you have them. Spreading the fingers wide and putting pressure through all corners of the hands. Making sure the thumb is grounded. Turning the toes under and pressing your hips up and back into downward dog. Relaxing the head down. Now here you feel this elongation on the back line of the body. Now the posterior chain of the body is all interconnected. From your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes, your lower back, your upper back, up to the back of your head. Really pushing the hips up here. If you need to have a slight bend in your knee, please do so. Making sure the upper arm bones are rotating inwards. pushing through, elevating in the shoulder blades. Micro bend in the knee, all legs are straight. Making sure there's not too much space between the hands and the feet. What happens is that you start to drop in the back then. So you want to have slight torsion and tension through the shoulders. Be able to protect the arms, protect the elbows even, especially if you're hypermobile in any joints. Breathing in, breathing out. On the inhale, we're going to walk slightly in. Feet are at hip distance apart and just ragdoll down. You can sway from side to side, creating some length in the hamstrings. Bending, extending and flexing the knee there. Just using the weight of your head, the weight of your shoulders to bring you further down. It's a really nice stretch at the end of the day. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, coming up to standing. Okay, so coming to the front of the mat, we're going to move through one sun salutation. Now, sun salutations are another warm-up technique from a standing position. So if we've been sitting and moving the body slightly and getting all this, the joints lubricated in the spine, we need to make sure that the pelvis is lubricated before we do anything any more energetic with the legs. So hands come to the side of the body. Breathing in, arms come up to the ceiling, fingers touching. Exhale, floating down. Inhale, come to a halfway lift, hands are on the shins. Exhaling, coming back to our mat into a plank position. Now dropping the knees here. Exhaling, our chest, chin and knees coming to the floor. Inhaling, slight cobra here. Or what you can take is upward dog, which is knees off the floor in a straight leg position. Coming back into our downward dog. Inhale, coming to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, forward fold, exhale. And coming all the way up, hands to the ceiling, Samastitihi. So that is moving for your sun salutation. I only like to do sun salutations in the morning. If I go to a class and they're put into an evening class, the idea of saluting the sun in the evening just doesn't do it for me. The body's often too tired, especially if I'm massaging quite a lot. So that's your sun salutation. You might then come into some standing poses, which you're holding. This then allows the body to gain some strength. So yoga is to do with flexibility and strength. So at the moment, we're warming up the body, allowing it to get strong. We'll do some flexibility poses, and then we'll have a nice splat on the mat. So you might come into warrior pose. So warrior, you're coming with the back foot should be at 70 degrees. The front knee is bent, and it's like you're on skis here. Imagine the skis are coming parallel. The left hip turns forward as the front knee bends. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, dropping forward with that knee, making sure it's not coming further over the ankle. Joints are stacked. That left hip's drawing forward to create square hips. Grounding that back foot into the floor. The long edge wants to ground down. Inhaling, coming up to straight legs, paralleling the arms, shifting the back foot slightly further back, dropping down into the knee, warrior two. Gazes along the fingers, making sure that arm isn't coming round too far. It's a very powerful pose, warrior two, standing in our strength, grounding down through the feet. Inhaling, coming up. Exhale, straight legs. Left hand or back hand comes down the leg, inhaling towards the ceiling. Reverse warrior. Gaze is towards the sky, or looking down if it's not comfortable on your neck. Inhaling. Exhale, coming forward into triangle pose. And classically, you'd reach your fingers forward, placing them on the shin. Sometimes you don't get very far because of this slight impingement in the hips. So what you can do here is turn that left hip slightly, making sure this right hip is drawing back. So we're having this internal and external rotation of the thighs here. Hand can come slightly further down. So come to where it's comfortable for you. It might be the shin, the floor. You might want that back arm back and looking up. Last full breath here. Inhale. Coming up. Creeping up. Front foot forward, bending the elbow. Elbow comes to the knee. Arm over by the ear. Side stretch. Coming up on the inhale and stepping back to the front of the mat. Okay, so we'll do that all on the other side. Breathing in. Exhale, right foot comes back. Spinning 70 degrees to the back of the mat. Inhale, warrior one. Make sure that back knee isn't falling forward. Creating some tension through the outside of the foot. And the exhale, dropping through the front knee. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, gathering palms up. Exhale, coming back down. Inhale, triangle pose. Inhale, coming up. Front knee bends. Side angle. Breathing in and coming to the front of the mat. So that's our standing sequence. Now you might then want to come down to a seated sequence. So bring yourself down, whichever way you're comfortable with. Coming into forward fold here. So what we don't want to do is slump in the spine. We want to create a length through the lower back before we come forward, placing our hands to the outside of the legs, the shins, or even clasping the feet or the toes. But what you want to make sure is that you're hinging from the hips here. You really are pushing forward before you then relax. Head is the last thing that comes down. You want to be quite gentle on the lower back. Think of tipping the hips forward, creating length before you relax. Breathing in and coming back to a counter pose for the forward bend. Now in yoga we do a lot of poses where we go forward and back to be able to get range in the front and the back of the body. Also, if you're sitting down doing too much forward folding, so if the postures seem to be all going that way, make sure you do counteract that. My back especially doesn't like all, like 5 forward bend positions in a row. So I need to counteract that with coming backwards. So either lying down, relaxing the back into the floor, or coming into feet on the floor, pushing through the hips. You can see how much stretch you get through the shoulders there with your hands facing forward. So hands can face forward or backwards. Chin is tucked. So you're not throwing the neck back, compromising the small neck bones. The last breath here. Inhale and exhale. So coming to a twist before we relax onto the floor. So bringing your knee, bending your knee, bringing your foot to the floor. Foot can come near the inner thigh or fist widths apart from that thigh. So breathing in, using the left elbow to hook the knee, hand comes behind, breathing in, breathing out. Compressing the belly here into the knee, onto the thigh. Now, the neck does strive to get into a certain position here. So make sure your body is in that position, but your neck is soft. So you may bring your gaze and your head back to the front here, focusing on the breath. Straight leg, foot is flexed. So, from the other side, bringing the left knee up, fist widths apart from the inner thigh. Breathing in, long straight spine. Breathing out, twisting to that left side. Foot is flexed on the floor. So see how your mind wants to go further. You're thinking strive, strive, strive. Actually, this is more about what is comfortable for your back in an elongated straight position. So we don't want to be slumping in the spine to be able to get further round. We want to be twisting from the thoracic spine to the mid spine, where we all get so tight. And computers, driving, none of us move very much from the thoracic spine. So using the exhale, twisting further round, inhaling, coming back to center. So we're going to come to our Shavasana pose now, a lot of people's favourite pose. Now Shavasana is also called corpse pose in that you don't move within that posture. So it might be that the body starts to cool down because it basically is the cool down for exercise. So you've been moving the body, you've been stretching the body, now you want to relax the body. So the way you do that is you may put a bolster or something, a pillow or something raised underneath your knees. That then allows your body into a neutral position. Now what I mean by that on the back is so that the hips and the back can relax into the floor. So I've got actually a massage bolster here that I use wrapped in a towel. But placing my knees or my thighs onto that, coming back, legs are spread to the edge of the mat. Hands can come right out to the side. But placing the head down, you may feel like you need something slightly raised to be able to tuck the chin. If not, just coming, laying your body down to the floor. Now the body will automatically starts to relax when the muscles are in contact like this. It's especially good for your back to lay flat like this. It means none of those back muscles can contract. And all the muscles that you've been using just by sitting at the start, using throughout the practice, twisting, warming up, they need to have that contact to relax. So going back to thinking about the breath here, we want to let go of any structure or judgment we've got of the breath. A good way to do that is to breathe in, breathe out through the mouth. So blowing that air through the mouth. Sometimes we call this lion's breath. And with lion's breath, we breathe in. When you breathe out, poking out the tongue, scrunching up the face, and really letting the air out. It's a good way to get rid of any anger or tension. Someone might be quite shocked if you did that in the street, but needs must. So sometimes it's very hard for us to relax in this position because we're just thinking, right, body, relax. Brain isn't used to this. So what we start to do is something called auto-suggestion. So we think of different parts of the body, doing like a body scan to be able to relax these different parts. We'll say to ourselves, I'm relaxing my legs. My legs are relaxed. I'm relaxing my arms. My arms are relaxed. I'm relaxing my head. My head is relaxed. I'm relaxing my shoulders. My shoulders are relaxed. My face. I'm relaxing my face. My face is relaxed. So using that auto-suggestion, you may feel yourself dropping further into the mat. Things are time to let go. Now to bring some awareness back to the body, we start to rub our fingertips lightly together. Toes can wiggle. And sometimes it's quite difficult to even think about moving here. If we bring that subtlety into the fingertips, into the toes, it's suggesting that we're going to start moving. Elbows can bend. Just using that sensation into the fingers. That light sensation. Start to scrunch your hands. Open and scrunch. My favourite saying is, I am here. It's a great thing to repeat to yourself here. I am here. Yes, I am. Like to circle those wrists. Just bring some movement into the fingers, starting to come into the arms. Arms can come ahead if you wish, overhead, relaxing onto the floor. Some people like to move quicker than others, but for some this position can be so luxurious you want to stay here a bit longer. Bringing your hands to your lower lungs, bringing the warmth of the hands, expanding into them. To move your knees into a comfortable position, or bring the knee up and cross the midline. Bring my foot onto the floor or onto the bolster. Doing the same with the other. So bringing your knee through the midline, bending up, but crossing the midline of the body. That puts less pressure through your lower back. Knees can come to chest if you wish. If you want to give a little rock around onto the lower back here. Oh, nice. The arm comes back so that you're creating a pillow for yourself on the upper arm. So rolling over here. Your head then sits almost just above the armpit. Not feeling like you're dropping the head at all. Now in order to get up from this position, you have to use quite a lot of muscles if you were to just throw yourself up. So dropping the neck and the head, using the front hand to push you up, allowing the neck and the head to be the last thing that comes up. And coming back to our seated position as we began. So you may want some height here, moving that out of the way. So coming to some slight height here. Coming with closing our eyes. So we sit here, feeling the reverberation of the actions and the movements that we've just done. Bring stillness to the body. Coming back to the breath. Inhale, exhale. Hands come to Anjalina Mudra to heart center. Thumb touching the breastbone, the sternum. Making sure there's length in the back of the neck. Not projecting forward to what may come. What we have to do. The straight spine and neck. Stay in the present moment. May the goodness in me see and recognize the goodness in you. Bringing your fingertips to your forehead, breathing in, breathe out, namaste. Giving thanks to the earth for grounding and supporting us. So I hope that you found that useful. I often think jumping into something can be quite difficult. I think also if you've been to a class which you haven't enjoyed, or it's been too fast or too slow, or you haven't enjoyed the teacher, I often think that can really put you off ever doing a sport or practice. So hopefully explaining things a little bit more and breaking them down, knowing that you've got some choice and you have to work within your own body's limitations, or your own body's loves. You know, we all have different things that we like. So hopefully that has given you some extra information so you're able to then approach a yoga class, a yoga person differently. Thank you.